Good evening. This is Daily Recall of Feb.5th, 2026. I'm Tom Stoukas coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario. So, the big story today on my X feed, my news, and Facebook is the Toronto or the police corruption scandal that just broke in the news today or the earliest morning, yesterday, whatever. Um, and it's a pretty explosive story, making international headlines. So that's the big story of the day. But it's uh, it's not a good thing because it's like the biggest police force in the country at a time when the city's like falling apart, being inundated, invaded really by this endless stream of migration. It's run by a crazy mayor, like the incompetent mayor, and now you got the police, this big corruption scandal where the police like were doing. Basically, if you've seen the movie or the TV series, The Shield, awesome show, I loved it. If you want to know, if you want to get an idea of this, what this is all about in Toronto, watch The Shield. It's like about a group of cops, corrupt cops, who do everything that the criminals do, basically, but they think they can get away with it because they're cops. So that's basically what's going on here. So pretty, it's pretty serious because whenever the integrity of the police is weakened in such a horrible scandal like this, it happens in cities. It's happened in LA, a lot of American cities it happened, and they had to gut the force, like the leadership and everything. Like it took a long time to recover. And it's kind of like, I always make fun of Toronto, like it's a third world city now and this and that. I mean, it's not quite third world, but it's getting that third world vibe. And a big thing about third world countries is corruption. Corruption everywhere, but police force corruption. And Mexico, I bet, has got a big issue with police force corruption, and other developing countries, and I don't know, probably India. I'm sure the cops on the take there too. So it was usually first world countries, cops, they have more to lose. Like they got a nice pension, they got decent pay, standing in the community. So they don't really go the corruption route, the first world countries. But now we're getting the third world vibe in many different ways. And the police thing, this is just another angle. I know a lot of the cops are white dudes, but it's the system, man. It's a system. Like when the cops, the leadership is more catered to the DEI, political ideologies instead of like doing the policeman's job. And then the courts are overwhelmed. People are getting let out on the street. So if you're a cop, you're a lot more corruptible, especially with, huge cost of living. Even though I think they get like $100,000 a year. It's still in Toronto. That's not a hell of a lot after taxes. So I'm not saying it's justified to be a corrupt cop, but when you have, it's basically institutions breaking down everywhere. It's just normal to see that police corruption will follow institutional rot. You see it in everywhere. The leadership, Olivia Chow. So, yeah. The question is, we'll see. I guess they arrested like 27 people altogether, but six or seven were active duty Toronto police, which is it's really serious. The question is, how many more? How far is it? Does it go? And it's funny because we were talking about this Indian extortion crisis in Surrey, in Brampton, and Southern Ontario. Really, it's spreading, like, apparently. And these cops were given information and locations to the guys, the extortionists, in return for bribes. They were doing drug trafficking. Holy, it's like The Shield with Michael Chiklis. Great show. It's a great show, and this is exactly when I read the news stories. It reminded me of The Shield. It didn't work out well for the cops in The Shield either, but all right. And then we got our immigration file. It's interesting look at the conservative side. Let's look at this Toronto thing. Let's just go through this. It says here 9 Toronto police officers charged. I don't know if that's right. With releasing information to the multinational DaCosta Singh criminal gang for assassination and extortion in exchange for bribes. No wonder the police can't stop the extortion gangs. They are the extortion gangs. So we've been talking about the extortion all this time, and yeah, it was like nobody really gets arrested for the extortion thing. So guess that makes sense now. It's all making sense. Third world. Let's see what this guy says. And to think you got Olivia Chow is in charge of, going to be basically as politically in charge of this, trying to clean this up. It's like, oh my God. I don't know what's going to happen. We're going into an election year with this.
This includes extortion. Further, Mr. DaCosta and Mr. Elwin Satanowski, Mr. Daljit Singh, and Mr. Thomas Fippard, among other criminal associates, sought and obtained confidential information from various Toronto police officers, which we allege was to facilitate crime. In some cases, police officers were offered bribes for this information. We have identified a number of serious criminal acts that have occurred following the release of confidential information, almost in real time. This includes extortion, commercial robberies, and 7 shootings right here in York Region. We allege that those shootings were, in part, facilitated by the release of confidential information from Constable Barnhart to Mr. DaCosta and Mr. Satanowski.
All right, that's pretty bad. Like, even we're talking about all these houses getting shot up and in the GTA, and people are scared, and then you hear the police are actually like certain parts of the police are actually helping these guys do this. It's shocking. And even if it's just the couple guys, which it might not be, or the handful of them, because there are, there's a lot of cops in Toronto. So even if it's just a handful of them, it still looks really bad. All right. Next one. Remember when Canadians were told diversity is our superpower? Yes, it's not a superpower. A little diversity is, but what this is not a superpower. Yeah, how's that working out for us now? Indian gangs terrorizing Canada. I don't understand how, we're letting them get away with this. First of all, bringing them in en masse. I mean, whatever. We got to do a lot of deportations, it looks like. And it's like, I don't know. And the Conservatives and the Liberals are both responsible for this. We'll look at that later. All right. I'm just reading all these posts. Again, I'm sure we'll hear more about it in the coming days. There's going to be a big shakeup in Toronto. It has to be. Police allege Toronto officers are tied to gang wars and multiple GTA shootings linked to the tow truck conflict, which is, I think, the Indians. I don't know, maybe the tow truck's not all Indians. I'm thinking of trailers, maybe. So, yeah, we were looking at the tow truck like they set tow trucks on fire. It's a tough business. Okay, so linked to tow truck conflict, violence that put the public at risk. These are allegations before court, but serious questions remain. Can the public trust police? And should leadership step aside pending answers? So, Toronto officers tied to gang wars and multiple GTA shootings. That's crazy. I can't imagine it's like a lot of officers, but even little is bad. What's this? So they have, I don't know, they're releasing a bunch of videos of these. So I guess these videos are the ones where the cops gave them the locations, which is crazy. Okay. Let's go on to the next one. Everyone is East Indian now. Police are now putting hits on other people that work in their industry. Canada was never like this. It's insane what it has become. Yeah, this is a weird part. So the one York regional police officer who was charged, Tim Barnard, ordered a hit on like a prison guard. So who knows why? I'm sure we'll find out why. Maybe like some drug dealer wanted the prison guard. I don't know. But it's, yeah, so they're doing hits too. So yeah, we're becoming like India, and I say India because it's all the extortion gangs are all Indians. Okay, the tow truck drivers are all Indians. Okay, let's keep going on the police. This is a former police officer, Steve Ryan, now CP24 reporter. Number one, incredible damage that this can have, not only for the public's trust in the police, but also other officers. I don't know what that means. Oh, so other officers, yeah. It's hard for them, you know, to come to your job and be, you know, embarrassed by some colleagues who broke the law. Sucks. That would suck. Let's see what he says here.
Know that your fellow officers are going to come help you, and now we hear the allegations are that they...
Yeah. CP24 crime analyst Steve Ryan, a former Toronto police officer himself, says these charges are shocking.
So many things stuck out. Number one, the incredible damage that this can have, not only for the public's trust in the police, but also other officers. There's an unwritten understanding when officers put that uniform on and they go out on a call. If you and I are going to run down into a dark alley or a valley at 3 in the morning chasing a violent suspect, you know that your fellow officers are going to come help you. And now we hear that the allegations are that they were looking, these accused were looking for officers' addresses to pass on to other people. Very, very disturbing. And number two, somebody asked the deputy, and the deputy said that the corrections manager was targeted because he was actually doing his job. He was exercising integrity and honor when it comes to discharging his duties. And he was the target, allegedly, of this shooting as a result of playing by the rules.
It's funny because in The Shield, that was the first episode, is they killed a cop because they didn't trust him to keep, you know, to not expose their racket. So they killed him in the first episode. And it kind of haunted him the whole series. So that's what totally that reminds me of. They taking the one honest cop out. All right. Cops selling drugs and plotting assassinations isn't actually all that out of step with Canada's generalized slide into South America-style dysfunction. Yes, I said about Mexico. It's like this. It's like Mexican police stuff going on here. And you see the cops. They're all wearing their flak jackets too. That's weird. Their vests. They don't look too happy. police chief. Someone's got to take a fall for this. Okay, so while the cops are getting charged, this happened in Scarborough. Shooting at a Scarborough Tim Hortons has left a boy dead. No descriptions of the suspect that fled the scene have been released, but we know they have destroyed the very fabric of Canada. Yeah, you remember you used to go to Tim Hortons to get a coffee and a donut. Now this is what it's become. Third world stuff, man. Okay. There's more of this police stuff, but the bottom line is a handful of cops in Toronto and York region are charged with some serious crimes, just like the criminals it's supposed to catch. So it's crazy. It's a bad symptom of entering a third world society if we keep going, I guess. Let's see what this says.
No, right now. Continue.
This is when they were gonna kill the guy, I think.
Over the grass into a car. You follow there, Jude? I have not seen anyone get out the passenger side, and haven't seen anyone run around the houses. I have containment in the back. Keep doing what you guys do. I'm blocked out for some trees.
That's crazy. So they knew the guy was the officer was going to get assassinated, and they managed to intercept it or something. They must have had some information. It's crazy. They're going to make. I'm sure they're going to make a Netflix series out of this, or a Crave. Okay, and then here. So that's the Toronto stuff. That's the police. Huge damage to Toronto. See how they fix it. If they go about what they go to do to try and fix it, and if it's gonna get, if it's worse than it actually, like, is it just these guys, or is it more? That's the big question, and we'll see. But it's bad because it spreads to other police stations. If it's happening in Toronto, it has a chance to happen in other police forces in Ontario. Hopefully not. So definitely, I'm sure we'll see more stuff come out on that. Here's a next one for our third world file here. Abbotsford, British Columbia. We heard about this hotel murder. Now he's been formally charged. Sandeep Singh Gill has been charged with first-degree murder and account of indignity to human remains. Sandeep is accused of killing a 30-year-old woman in Abbotsford Hotel last month. So this guy's 30 years old. I don't know if he's a Canadian citizen or a PR or a visa, but the question, I lost my, is who knows what kind of stuff goes on these hotels. You got them, they own like all the hotels across Canada basically. So you heard about the one in, I don't know, in Lethbridge, I think. I don't know, it was in Alberta about the child trafficking or whatever. And now you got murders going on. Like, the hotels are just, they got so many hotels. Oh my God, it's just so much potential for horrible things to happen. So this guy's got a first-degree murder, one indignity to the human. Who knows what he did to the body? So yeah, we got a ban between that and extortion. All right. Next. This guy We got the extortion. We got the murders. And then we got the truck drivers. This is the big tragedy. They're all tragedies, but this one was like big. The guy the Humboldt driver, the Humboldt Broncos truck driver, the truck driver that drove into the Humboldt Broncos bus in 2018, looks like he's going to get deported. So almost 10 years. And he fought it the whole way. All right. His client says the client is closer to being deported to India. The Immigration and Refugee Board denied Sidhu's request to stay in Canada as a refugee, obliging the Canadian Border Services Agency to begin removal proceedings. Sidhu's lawyer plans to request a deferral, of course. In Canada, they have so many appeals, and it's so hard to deport somebody. And he killed 16 people and injured 13. Yeah, I can't believe he's still here. Separate application to restore his permanent residence status, citing humanitarian reasons, including a child with serious medical needs, remains under review. So, he might not be deported in the near future. It sounds like he's got like he's appealing left and right here still. That's crazy. How many more have to die on the roads? I think that's it for the third world file. I mean, the Toronto police was the big third world file story today. Can't really top that. Okay. So now we'll go to immigration. And a few posts caught my eye today because we're talking about the conservatives after the convention, and basically saying on immigration they're identical to the liberals. Like, and you can see the conservatives are trying to say, hey, before Trudeau, immigration was perfect. Like, we had it all under control and everything. And they fail to mention that they increased the limits, which Trudeau just continued, and he amped up during COVID. So it's like, yeah, Trudeau was responsible for a lot of it, but you put in place a lot of it too. And you would most likely continue that kind of policy if you got into power. Like, you got senior Indians in your leadership, like Pierre's like owned by Indians. But the point is they're both the same on immigration. So that's why these posts were interesting. First one, like the liberals, I could criticize the liberals on immigration, but that's where their voters come from. So that's not going to change. The Nationalist Party would be a place to vote if you don't want that. But the Conservatives aren't a nationalist party. It's a big problem. And then you got Mario Zelaya, who's a conservative shill. He says he does it for free, fine. But he literally repeats the talking points of the party, and he's not gonna criticize anything. So I think it's a kind of disservice to the followers, to all the thousands of followers. But anyway, this is an example of him just really pushing the uniparty onto the conservative base with his fancy, whatever. It was great to finally meet Jason Kenney. He's incredibly sharp, has a better memory than I could ever hope for, has a great sense of humor, and I saw firsthand why he's liked and respected by so many people. It's incredible what he and Stephen Harper and the Conservatives did for Canada. Like, what a shill. So, that's fine. If you want to be a shill, go ahead. But look at this picture. But Kenney was the immigration minister when all this got amped up. Just because you couldn't notice it in 2008 when he was the minister, let's say, federal immigration under Harper, just because you couldn't notice that Toronto was an Indian city, you couldn't notice that until just recently. It started back then. And Mario wouldn't know because he just shills. So it just shows, like, we'll show you more of Jason Kenney here. So they're trying to say, the Conservatives are trying to say they're not the same as Liberals. First of all, they don't want to talk about immigration at all. That's fine. But even during the election, like, Pierre's main thing was anyone from anywhere, it can be anything in Canada. So basically, he was like a globalist talking point, or like a open borders talking point. Anybody can come here. And they're trying to say, oh, before Trudeau, we had the immigration file fine. So let's say, under Harper, according to this, under Harper, the temporary foreign worker program expanded beyond niche high-skill roles into fast food, retail, hospitality, low-wage service work. Rules were loosened to make hiring TFWs faster and cheaper. Why is he lying? So, yeah, Harper has some nice, he wants to, he's really into India, just as much as the Liberals. Maybe even more. So here, Stephen Harper claims to have phased out the use of temporary foreign workers. This is when he was Prime Minister. In fact, his government oversaw the largest expansion of the temporary foreign worker program in its history up to that point. Let's see what he says here.
While we phased out, through the efforts of Jason Kenney, Diane, and others, we overhauled Canada's immigration policies to ensure a strong economic focus and align it with labor force needs. While we phased out the large-scale exploitive program of low-skilled temporary foreign workers.
This is an honest.
Through the efforts of Jason.
So he's saying they didn't. They phased out the use of temporary foreign work. That's what they said, but according to this, we didn't. Why is he lying? They tried to rewrite history. Anyway, and just to show you what the... Oh, I'm losing my screen. Sorry, guys. Oh. What the hell is going on here? There we go. Here's another on the immigration file. I love these Parliament shots. The latest from the Indian Parliament, which is actually the Canadian Parliament, because if you look anytime they show Canadian Parliament now, like on the news, or if you, it's all this. It's like India.
It fell from 60% to 52%. Supply is broke.
The honourable member for Brampton West.
Brampton
Mr.
West.
Speaker, young Canadians are being locked out from home ownership. Home ownership is collapsing. For 30 to 34-year-olds, it fell from
This is a
60%
Conservative
to
MP.
52%. Supply is broken. For every 100 new adults, only 12 ownership homes are built. Sales are crashing. down 45% in
This
the
is
GTA,
Canadian Parliament, not
down
Indian
56%
Parliament.
in Vancouver. Builders are laying off workers.
Just so you don't
100,000 jobs are at
make
risk.
a mistake.
93% of young Canadians are worried. When will the Liberals adopt our plans and get out of the way so young Canadians can buy their first home?
Okay, so that's the Conservative Party. So pretty sure they're going to turn us into India, whether they're Conservatives or Liberals. All right. So here's this concerned citizen. He's echoing what the Dominion Society is saying. Under Harper, 2006 to 2015, annual immigration rose to record levels. And temporary foreign workers grew. So under Harper, annual immigration rose to record levels. It did. And temporary foreign workers grew from 122,000 in 2005 to 214,000 in 2012, 310,000 by 2015. So, yeah, they gradually increased it. And then they just kept it going for the 10 years of Trudeau. And here's a quote from Jason Kenney. "We did not reduce immigration or give in to protectionism. Highest levels in history," according to Jason Kenney. Yeah. All right. I got a good one of Jason Kenney here. I gotta find it. There's Jason Kenney. I thought this was AI. This is Jason Kenney, former Conservative immigration minister from Alberta, and he was a COVID commie as a Alberta premier. Got kicked out by his own party because he's a liar. And yeah, he blamed Trudeau the other day. He was saying Trudeau destroyed our perfect immigration system that we set up, and it's like, no, you guys both did it. Look at that. I thought it was AI, but apparently this is a real photo of Jason Kenney. So yeah, the Conservatives ain't gonna save Canada. And yeah, that's it. Third world Canada. Third world Canada. So we'll see where the police thing goes. See how deep the rock goes. And I'm sure we'll just keep the third world file open for the next broadcast. Maybe we'll see some Canadian news too. So until February 9th, have a nice weekend coming up.